I'm going to dive straight into this week's episode with a question for you. When you contemplate upon the next level that you desire, whatever that may be, what are the stepping stones that you see and the obstacles on the path that you need to overcome to get to that destination? Can you think of a few? Can you name them? This is a practice I highly recommend doing. See where you want to go, contemplate the path, but also the obstacles. We don't avoid the obstacles. We don't pretend they're not there. We actually get familiar with them. And in this week's episode, we're not going to talk about just the ones that you are consciously aware of. We're going to talk about the unconscious obstacles that you don't see are there that are actually getting in your way. They dictate so many ways that you perceive what is possible for you, the decisions that you make, how you show up, the identity you hold, all of the stuff. So welcome to this week's episode of your Power Packed Podlets. My name is Rachel, and I'm your host for these mini weekly podcasts for my purpose-driven women here to make a difference in the world. Now, this week's episode has been inspired by a conversation I'm having with a client. She did a thing that she should have been paid for and she didn't get paid. And so we're having a conversation around this because I'd like you to imagine for a moment that you provide a service to a person, a group of people, or a company, and you don't get paid for that service. What comes up for you? When you think about that, what comes up for you? What do you feel? What's your automated response to it? Now I invite you to get to the destination, that next level that you're at. How does that version of you think about it? Are you familiar with it? Does it make sense? The version of you who's at another level, I'm kind of making an assumption it's another level in business, success, and income. It might be something else. But let's say with business, that version of you, how does she respond to it? To not getting paid? Because I guarantee you it's very different from the current version of you. In fact, in this conversation, when this client asked me what should have been my response in this scenario, I didn't actually answer that question until much later. The first part of what we spoke about was entirely different. And I asked her the following: how is this happening for you? And what is this showing you? What feels uncomfortable right now? Because in the discomfort, you can either lean into it and expand to your next level, or you can contract back and do what feels safe and familiar. And this is what happens so often. It's not just in finances and business, it's in life. When we're desiring something different, like a different result, a different experience, a different reality, we call it in and we let the universe know. We're like, I'm ready for this. And the universe goes, okay, you want it. Here it comes, and it starts to bring you the experiences to prepare you for receiving it. And sometimes those experiences do not feel great. And this is the thing, such an important conversation for us to have. When you're calling in another level of income and success in your business, another level of time freedom, for you to get to a place you've never gone requires that the patterns, the conditioning, the identity, and the lack of awareness within you of those possibilities of that being normal, that all has to come to conscious awareness. Or if it doesn't consciously come to conscious awareness, it has to be cleared, because you cannot carry your old identity into your new reality. You cannot carry the conditioning and the patterns that keep you where is currently familiar into this new level. And so life will present you with opportunities for you to lean into the discomfort that arises when somebody doesn't pay you, when someone questions your rates, when you receive negative feedback, when you fall flat on your face, when you don't know what to say, when all of the stuff that feels uncomfortable on the path to your next level, within that discomfort is the wisdom that when you lean into it, you expand and you become the version of you who has it. But so many people, what I see happening is contracting back. And so actually when they're presented with a scenario, they will actually go back to what feels safe and familiar. So let me give you a few examples with that money scenario. This may or may not be you. The person doesn't pay you and you start making it about you. It's your fault. You didn't do it properly. They don't respect you. Or you make it about them and it's all their fault, all their problem. If you make it about them and it's their fault, or if you make it about you not being good enough, are you going to grow by focusing on that? Is that what the version of you who's at a next level, is that how she thinks? Is that how she moves? And is that how she responds to this situation? And if the answer is no, I invite to contemplate, how does she think about it? Because there is a whole new level of you that is excited. There's like your inner child, your soul, whatever you connect with. I connect with both. Inner child and soul are both excited. They love variety, they love novelty, they love learning, they love being a beginner, they love experience, they love challenges. Those parts of you are excited to lean into the discomfort and go, okay, so how have I been playing small here? And what does another level look, feel, and act like? Because the easiest thing would be to say, well, yeah, I didn't decide a price. Maybe I should just let them off the hook this time. I want to keep this relationship sweet because I'd like to continue working with this person. So I'll just let it slide this time. Is there another level in that response to this situation? Of course there isn't. What really happens in this, and this was my response to the client, is, where is it for you to take radical responsibility for how you created this scenario? What role do you have to play in this scenario? And not only this, what does it look like to lean into the uncomfortable and actually hold the standard? Hold the standard and hold the boundary. What is it you're not willing to tolerate? It's not about making the other person the problem. It's about holding the standard within you, which maybe means that certain relationships cannot go with you into the next level. Often it means moving away from what feels familiar in terms of interactions with the humans that we're used to having conversations with. Maybe they have the same belief systems the old version of you who's dying is leaving behind, so the new version of you can be birthed. And it doesn't always feel comfortable because there are people who will not go with you to the next level. There are people who will not resonate with the new version of you. And there will be conversations and standards you will have to hold that won't always feel great in the moment as you're shedding the familiarity. And these are such important conversations to be having because growth in life in general comes with growing pains. So let me ask you the same question I asked at the beginning of this episode. When you contemplate upon the thing that you desire or the things that you desire, and you consider what the path is there, or a possible path, you contemplate upon the obstacles. I now invite you to contemplate on this question, not just now, also as you go about life and you encounter all of the scenarios that are either leading you to your next level or keeping you where you are. And ask yourself, how are you creating more of the same? By choosing to stay in safe decisions, safe interactions, staying in the familiar, same conversation ticking over and over, same people, and expecting a different result. Because your next level does not reside within safety and familiarity. It resides within the discomfort of stepping into the unknown. It's not about not feeling the fear. You're going to feel afraid, but can you be excited about it and actually shift that fear into excitement because your inner child and your soul knows that there's so much on the other side. And it's fun. It's fun to grow. It's fun to lean into your edges. And approaching it from this, not just perspective, but feeling changes the game in your business journey, because entrepreneurship is about consistent, grounded drumbeat of growth. It is going to call you to grow in ways that no other way of working will call you to grow. Entrepreneurship is a journey of growth and meeting your edges and healing and nervous system responses and not tolerating anxiety and stress. Like, entrepreneurship is going to stretch you in every way possible. And that is brilliant. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? In this journey of the human experience, is to have fun, it's to grow. I don't know about you, but when I stop growing over a period of time, I'm like, I'm hungry, I'm ready for the next thing to get my teeth into. And if that's you, I invite you to approach all of the things, including the uncomfortable stuff, from this perspective, to say thank you for the uncomfortable scenarios because of the growth they allow, and for how you get to meet yourself in greater and greater ways. My partner's just arrived home with the shopping, so I'm going to go and help him sort that out. And I'm going to sign off for today's episode. And I'll see you again next week for next week's episode of your Power Packed Podlets.